Hey, fight fans, welcome back to Carlo Peruzza MMA. I'm Carlo Peruzza. Today, we got a returning guest to the show. He is UFC fighter. He's making his return to the Octagon February 1st with two of his Fusion XL teammates taking on Fares Ziam. He is Beast Boy. He is Mr. Mike Davis. Mike, what's up, brother?
Too much. I'm feeling great.
Absolutely, man. So
Happy. I'm
very
happy that I'm getting back in there. Really
Oh,
happy.
it's awesome. Yeah, heck yeah, man. I'm really excited to watch you fight again. Supposed to be taking on Drew Dober earlier on in the year. Unfortunately, injury happened. Now we're going to Saudi Arabia. We're taking on Fares Ziam. You got Terrence McKinney, you got Lucas Alexander, two guys going with you with your coaches. What's it like to be able to, travel the world and fight with two of your two mates for this one?
It's really good. I've known Lucas for a long time. Lucas has been in my gym. Honestly, I feel like he's been at the gym longer than I have. But then Terrence just moved here, and Terrence has been a good addition to the team, and it's crazy because Terrence fought my opponent, and I don't know. I just don't feel like it's gonna go well for him based on training. But it'll be fine. It'll be fun.
In a situation like that, with one of your teammates did fight your opponent, is there a little more coaching from Terrence? You guys doing some one-on-one stuff? Or you take some notes from him?
No, there wasn't really much that he can say from his fight with Ziam. I don't want to butcher his name. Uh, the fight was quick. Grabbed his neck, subbed him in the first. Um, there's no real information he can give me.
Last time
So
you
I'm,
were
I'm going in the same way I go into every fight. Every fight to me is just a way to test the skills that I've been putting together. I really don't care what my opponent knows or what he can do. It's just me showing up and testing how well I've put myself together.
Last time you were out there, obviously taking on Natan Levy. What an amazing fight for you. Almost finished it really early there. Picked up a great first round finish. Walk me through that first exchange there. When you dropped him, did you feel like you could have ended it there?
Uh, I'm not sure. I know my punch dropped him like a flash knockdown, and something inside of me told me to maintain control because I didn't feel as a wrestler. He's known for wrestling his opponents, and I feel like if I was to hover over him to start striking, he would wrestle me, and it would have been a whole different situation. So I think I took the right approach to what happened, um, but I did feel like I should have been able to finish it in the first, and that's all I worked on was maintaining, uh, not maintaining, but correcting the issues and the mistakes that I made in that fight. So now I have those corrected, and now I have advanced striking stuff that I've been working on all this camp.
For that one, going into that one, you were on the shelf for almost a year and a half. What kind of feeling was that like, man, you being able to, finally get back in there and put on performance like that?
Great. I mean, every time I step in the octagon, they put me against someone. I saw a message before that they assume or feel like they're feeding me to not very high caliber fighters. You can't say that about the people that I fought. They are high caliber fighters. Mason Jones is crazy. He's on like a 5-5 win streak outside the UFC. Vyacheslav is a world champion kickboxer, and look at what he's doing in the UFC. He's on a rampage. Um, Natan Levy is he's a tough kid. The kid's tough. I just happened to be on it that night. The same thing's gonna happen February 1st.
You were going to get the call to fight Drew Dober. Unfortunate injury happened. What exactly happened in training?
So I hit a switch from wrestling on a bigger training partner. I made little mistakes. Got too separated from the body. His body lock was too strong, being the bigger guy, and I just couldn't get my arm out or strength to pull in. So it was just at that cross point where I had to go both ways at the same time.
You
It didn't
know,
really hurt either. It was more like a shock. It was more like I heard it and I just couldn't believe it. It didn't really hurt.
obviously before that, with being out a year and a half, having the surgeries, having time on the shelf, to be getting hurt again and spending more time on the shelf recovering, was that a low point?
It can be. I would say I had plans for 2024, Dober, and then my expectation would have been like Patty or someone up there in that area. But I think things happen for a reason, and I take it. My life has been difficult. I've never been given the easy road. I get injured often, which is another shitty outcome of my life. But I get through it. I still showcase every time I go out there. I show you that I belong in there.
You've definitely evolved greatly as a fighter. You've evolved personally over your time in mixed martial arts and life in general. You shared that amazing story of the one night you didn't go out with your friends. Something happened, landed them to serve time in jail. And right there, your life could have been totally different than what it is now. For you, what do you think this journey has taught you? What are some of the biggest takeaways and lessons you've gotten from mixed martial arts and, life in general?
Oh, man. What I've learned from mixed martial arts is discipline can take you far. There's no such thing as motivation because that fades, it goes. But if you truly want to achieve something, there's a drive that'll bring you there. I've learned the business. I learned business through martial arts. I've learned politics through martial arts. I've learned who real friends are through martial arts. I learned how to tell the fakes. I learned how to take a punch. I learned how to give a punch. Honestly, mixed martial arts is, if you take it and really analyze everything through mixed martial arts, I think it's a better teacher than school.
You train with some killers, some absolute legends in the game. One thing I love about Fusion Excel, man, that's such a family-like atmosphere. From the outside looking in, you guys push each other, you guys hang out with each other. You guys are boys, you guys are family in there. What is it like training with those group of guys and being in that environment?
It's like a family, so everything is more focused around helping each other, laughter. Oh, we don't show up. We don't have egos. We're not at a gym where, like, random, say some Extreme Couture or ATT, the big gyms where all the fighters want to stop in, and now you got this random guy from Russia, this random team. It's 20 people that just randomly came in from Russia. Now you're sparring and training with these guys. You don't know them, so everything ends in a fight and injuries and all this stuff. But I feel like being surrounded by the family that we've created allows us to really pick each other's brains. We know how each other, like, we know how each one of us fights. We know all of our weaknesses. We help fix, the problems that we have. And that's where I feel like the hole in the wall gym is technically what Fusion is. It's a hole in the mall gym. And because we're not really well known, we have the ability to really analyze how we're fighting and what we're doing. And I think that's why we succeed a lot.
You're one of those core guys at that gym. Obviously, you, Phil Rowe, Alex Nicholson, Lucas Alexander. Within this past year, Terrence McKinney, Charles Johnson, both those gentlemen come in, both those guys doing big things right now. How have they been, to add, I guess, as the missing puzzles to this great team?
Charles is definitely bringing in a work ethic mentality. He's constantly asking me to go over stuff with him, which helps me a lot. I'm creating my own class based on Charles, because Charles is constantly asking me to go over things with him. And then while I'm going over things with him, 3 other people are like, "Oh my God, that's amazing. Can you show me?" And then now I am teaching a class, and I just, was working one-on-one with Charles. So he brings a really big growth aspect to the gym. And then Terrence, now that he's here, he brings, the dog. He just wants to scrap. He likes to scrap. He likes to have fun while he's doing it. He brings that, that side in.
You've also had some special guests come in within the last year. One in particular, Alex Pereira. Phil Rowe pulled a little bit of strings, got him over there, I think like 3 or 4 times now training with you guys. What's it like to train with him?
He's he's a better grappler than people give him credit for. And I know everyone that wants to fight him, they're like, "I'll just take him down." He's a good grappler. And I don't know if you saw, but he's training with Kaya, and he's grappling back. Kyle's a black belt. No,
Oh
he's
yeah.
doing great, and I'm pretty sure Alex is a black belt too. He got it quick, but he's a black belt.
So Julian Williams told me, I don't know if this is true, you can verify it. Is it true that he took down almost the entire gym?
Yeah, he's taking everybody down. Yeah, he was going through everybody, taking them down.
That's absolutely crazy. Obviously, you guys fighting on Saudi Arabia. It was announced first. Terrence McKinney was going to be on there. Lucas Alexander then got announced. And then a few weeks later, you got announced. How did this all come about? Was it when Lucas and Terrence first got announced? Did you have something? Were you talking about it, or did it just come
Nope.
through kind of last minute?
I had absolutely zero. I wasn't even looking for a fight. It was just random. They got put on a card. Where it was Terrence first. No, it was Lucas.
Lucas first.
It was Lucas first, and then all of a sudden Terrence got a fight. I was like, oh snap! I was like, well, how would it be so cool if like Phil and Charles and me could also jump on that card? And because they've been in the gym and I've been getting healthy, I wasn't, ready to go all out yet. But I was like, I wonder if I got to fight February 1st, that's like a month and a half or a month and a week or so, something like that out. It would give me that time to heal still. So if I took a fight now, if I asked for a fight now and they gave me one a month later, I would be fully healed and ready to fight by then. So I was like, yeah, well, let's try it. Let's see what my management is open. I know that I'm in a position where there's a good fights for me, and there's a lot of fights for me. Unlike all of the lower, I'm not saying the lower, but all of the people down below in the rankings. Let's go that way. They're having so much trouble getting fights, but I know where I stand, and the fights that I have offered are there. There's so many. I looked at. There's so many. So they came back like 3 days later, like, hey, they offered this guy, and ready to go. And it was like February 1st. Oh snap! Everybody's fighting. Let's do it. Whatever.
I think that's definitely an interesting dynamic when you're fighting with teammates. So I've heard some mixed approaches this with some guys. Some guys say they love it. Other guys say it adds pressure. Obviously, if they're fighting before you, the outcome maybe could affect you a little bit mentally. See the guys win, could be approached. See the guys lose, might be another thing that's going through your head.
But there's
what
a
do you
way that
think
you
about that?
get that brings positivity both sides. If your opponent or your teammate wins, now you're like, oh hell yeah, I gotta win, keep it going, let's keep it going. If you have that energy, and if your teammate loses, now you're the avenger, right? You gotta go out there and be like, yo, one of us lose, I ain't losing, and you have that also to drive you forward. So there's no real negatives that can come from it just based on your mentality. I think it's good because now we have a pack traveling out the same way that Fighting Nerds does or ATT does. And that's crazy. We've never had that before. We're such a small gym. Now we're going to have a crowd of like 10, 15 people. I don't know. I'm just guessing a number, but I would assume around 10 people. That's crazy. That's a lot because normally it's just me, Phil, Julian, and one other person. So that's going to be fun. It'll be fun to have this many people going out there. Their energy is going to be better. Lively. You're going to be happier. You're going to fight happy. I think we're going to do really good February 1st.
I really think you're really starting to make some noise now. I think a lot of people are considering you, like from an MMA perspective, as a whole, as a dark horse in that division, the guy who's got a really good chance to make the belts. I really feel like you're finally starting to get the attention you deserve after the Levy fight. Being able to fight now, this is going to be a free card, I guess, ESPN Plus or whatever. Israel Adesanya headlining it. You got Shara on there. This is going to be one of the best cards of the year. So many eyeballs are on it. Do you think this is the perfect way to start off 2025 and make this run to the top?
Regardless of who it is, my goal this year is to be the active fighter that I want to be. Stay healthy. I'm focused now mostly on keeping health. I've not signed, but I'm working with many, many, many people who contribute to my health standing right now and keep me this way. And this is going to be crucial for 2025. I'm going to be seeing them every day, making sure my body stays healthy, eating the right foods this year, doing the right things this year, staying mobile, and picking my partner. I'm not training with any big guys anymore. I used to love it, especially when I was going to fight Dober. I was training with like 200-pound Lyoto Machida, and and like Rodolfo, and I was like, yo, if Rodolfo can't take me down, if Lyoto Machida can't, get the best of me, then what is little man Dober gonna do? Like that's how I had the mentality, and it got me hurt. So I'm gonna stick with the people that are my size and uh, work on my skill set that way.
One thing I think is so interesting about you, you've been open about it. Obviously, you're really good at fighting. You're one of the best in the world, but you've said you don't love it. I mean, obviously, you don't like to hurt
Yeah,
people. You like doing other stuff, but this is just your job. Do you feel like that balance, having that, other interest between doing video stuff, hobbies on
yeah.
the side, is that more beneficial that this isn't all your life?
I think so because my last fight on the mic, I told everybody that this isn't my passion, and it's not. But that doesn't mean I'm not here. Like when I step in the ring, I'm gonna hurt you. Like I'm not just because it's not my passion doesn't mean anything. This pays my bills. You show up to work every single day. I show up to work every single day. I do my best, and you do your best. It just doesn't mean that I have to love it, but I'm really good at what I do. So I show up and I win, and I'm going to keep winning. Fighting saved my life. So regardless if I like it or not, I owe it. I'm giving it. I'm gonna give it my all. I can touch gold. I know I can. I have 6 belts on this wall, professional and amateur. I can make it there. Uh, yeah, no. But your question, having the things outside of the octagon keep me from wanting to constantly drown myself in MMA. And I think having that balance allows me to maintain like an uh, emotional balance. I'm not overthinking fights. I'm not constantly drowning myself in, oh my guy can do this, he can do that. I'm not studying. I'm not watching fights. I'm just clear. I'm like a kid outside of the octagon. I play video games. I watch anime. I do random things. I take pictures and videos of cats and dogs and trees, like random stuff. I have fun. I don't care about MMA to the point where it's like I have to engulf it. And I've made it so far with this mindset. But again, you can't take me for granted because when I'm in the cage, that's not this guy. I'm completely different. I'm ready to hurt you. I have to.
So many people watch mixed martial arts in this day and age, and they look at the big names, obviously the Pereiras, the Joneses, the GSPs, and they're like, "What a wonderful life! It must be amazing to be a professional fighter." Little they know, obviously, a lot of sacrifices associated with this. When you're battling on the regional scene, most guys are losing money at that point. You have the 9 to 5 jobs. Some have kids, some have wife.
Yeah.
When you make the UFC, money does get a little better. Sacrifices are still there. I mean, I see how much you and the rest of your teammates put in the gym. I mean, you're in the gym more than you're at home, basically, missing Christmases, missing birthdays, sacrificing all this time away from the family, dealing with injuries, dealing with life, just to chase the dream every single day. You've been doing this for a long time now, Mike. What's made you keep pushing and keep moving forward?
I've been doing this for a long time. I think this is year 12 in total. What drives me forward is, knowing that I'm free, no 9 to 5, no struggling for money. I don't look at my bank account when I go buy. I go buy whatever I want, and I don't have to look at my bank account. I know for a fact that I have the money, and if I don't, I know that there's money somewhere in one of the bank accounts that I have. It's something doing something. I'm not worried about it. UFC grinding and sacrificing all of that childhood, um, that instant that saved my life, that all these things have led me to this spot. So being, in the UFC and grinding to this goal, having the freedom, being able to travel the world on the UFC's dime, all this stuff is amazing. Like you don't get it being a 9 to 5 worker. So fighting for the UFC is pretty great. It just depends on how you look at it. People don't like how they get paid. Be better and you get paid better. I get paid great. I don't know what you're talking about.
There's so many people who watch the sport now. Now you have a term called the casual fan. These are the people that are usually drunk. You can find them in B-dubs, cheap seats at the
Yeah.
fights, twist them in the you-know-what, you're humping, crotch sniffing, all this stuff. What do you think of these people? Is it just something that we need to accept that's good for the sport as a whole?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I, I'm my inbox is full of people. I have voice messages of people from whoever, wherever, sending me messages like, Mike, I'll fight you right now for $1, and I'd win. I'd sub you right now. And it's just that's just the way of life. I think people love to have fun, and especially when they're drunk. When you go and hang out with your friends at a party, you guys mess around, punch each other. It's just life. It doesn't make us feel bad. It's funny. I think it's funny. You make jokes out of it. Even invite them to, if they can make it to you, do a sparring match with them. That's content for you. That's publicity. Like, have fun. I don't care. I
You
like
know,
it. I like these little couch MMA fighters.
one guy that trains with you, or sometimes that loves to have fun, obviously Mike Perry. I've heard a story on Fusion Excel with Mike. Were you there the time that he may have headbutted the column in the gym and put
No, I
a
wasn't
hole
there.
in it? Oh, you
Yeah,
missed
I
that
wasn't
day.
there. Yeah, I missed it. I heard it. I heard him jump up and headbutt it, but I missed it.
Absolutely hilarious. Mike always doing something. But now going forward, let's talk about the fight a little bit. So you're taking on Fares Ziam February 1st over in Saudi Arabia. Overall, what do you think of him as an opponent?
Good. He's on a 4-5 win streak. He's beaten great people, Jai Herbert, Matthew Vola, and I don't know the other two, but he's on a 4-5 win streak. That's crazy. I'm on a 4-5 win streak as well. Um, I have no real thoughts about it. The same as I would think of every other fight. We just show up and test our skills. I don't know how his approach is to fighting, but I'm very friendly with everybody I fight. I don't care. I'm not malicious towards you. I don't hate you. You're doing your job. I'm doing my job. Um, February 1st, we try out our skill set that we've been training for years and years and years. We're both in the UFC. I'm not afraid of anybody. I'm willing to, I strike with world champions. I grapple with world champions. And the fight's fine. I personally think it's in my favor. All around better fighter. Uh, but it's MMA. It's fighting. Grandma could knock me out. She could clip my chin. 80-year-old woman and knock me out cold. So you never know.
With this being in Saudi Arabia, are you guys getting there maybe a little earlier to adapt to the climate and the time zone and all that stuff?
Yeah, I think we're getting there a week early. So we'll be there like the 23rd, 24th. I don't even have my flight yet. I gotta talk to them. I think they've been busy with this card, the UFC coming back, but yeah, I gotta get my flights. Um, yeah, I want to leave Thursday or Friday the week before. That way, I have a full week to be in Saudi Arabia, and I've already fought in Abu Dhabi, so I've been over in that direction, and it really wasn't bad. Air's dry, so the hydration is important. You need to stay a little more hydrated. But other than that, I didn't really feel any. I had the hardest fight in my career in Abu Dhabi, so it wasn't. It really wasn't bad.
Do you feel like a big win here gets you pretty close to the top 15, if not in it?
I think it puts us in the top 15. I think a win puts you in the top 15. Depending on how you win, maybe. I know he's a decision guy. A lot of his fights go to decision, so I don't think a decision win is good enough to put you in the top 15. It might put you at like 16, or it depends on who's clouding 15. But I don't know. I think like a knockout finish puts you in the top 15.
You're a guy that you've proven in your past fights, man. You like to push the pace. You're an aggressor. Do you think that could make the difference here?
I think so. I'm just not afraid. I'm not afraid to get hit. I'm not afraid of anything. So I can just be in your face the entire time.
Do you
And
feel
the craziest thing is, I'll beat you in your own game. So you want to strike? I mean, I'm known for my striking. I'm not known for grappling. I'm known for my striking my entire career. So yeah, have fun.
Do you feel like right now in your career in the UFC, do you feel like you're feeling free while you're fighting? Do you have that sense of freedom in there?
Yeah, so it's funny you say that because I watch this anime called Windbreaker, and there's a kid, a young kid just like me. He's just very happy. Doesn't, he's always smiling, but he's the strongest person, and he fights to be free. He fights for this sense of freedom and happiness, to be like, enjoying something. He had the wrong way about it. He went the wrong way about it, but I understood what he wants, and I feel like I'm there. I feel like I'm at that point. I wish I could fight like him. Oh god damn, motherfucker fight.
You feel like 2025 is the year where you break out.
I think so. I think 2025 is the year that I get to show that I can be active. I'm 32 years old now. I feel like a kid. I feel like I'm like 25. I'm not hurting at all anymore. And my biceps fully healed. Legs are all good. Shoulders feel good. I feel I'm stiff. I'm old, but mentally and mobility wise, I feel good. I feel really good. So I think this is going to be a year that I get to show that I can climb.
Are you starting to really feel the attention now, whether it be obviously you're being talked about by MMA journalists? I'm sure you're getting tons of interview opportunities, people talking about you on social media, messages. Are you really starting to feel that attention now?
There's a lot. Yeah, I actually ignore a lot of them because there's too many. I don't really know. I know you, so I respond to you, but I even have like Owens Media. I don't even know who this guy is. Yeah, I don't want to make time. I can, I just don't. I don't want to make time to answer the same questions over and over again. I just don't want to do it.
Are you type of the guy, obviously, we talked about before, fighting is not your passion. Do you like be prefer to be left out of the spotlight?
Not when I am scheduled to fight. I want to be in the spotlight because this is my time to build my brand. Where the things I do outside of the cage, brand deals and sponsorships, partnerships, all that stuff, making videos for such and such. Building my name here is how I get all of this. So if I can take the spotlight, make people not make them, but encourage people to follow my streams. I'm getting back to streaming and all that stuff. Then it helps me grow, and I help people based on what they need help with. I've offered kids to teach them how to fight over the internet, and bro, we can just get on a call, show me what you do, shadow box, let me see what you do, like random stuff. I'm just trying to be helpful to the community.
You know, do you try to give advice to some of the younger guys at the gym, some of the guys who want to get to where you're at? That maybe, fighting is great. You have to put your time, you have to put your dedication into it. But do you feel like it's important to think of other things than just fighting? Because you only have so long to fight,
Yeah, I
a
think
very
so.
short window.
Yep, fighting is a super short window, especially if you aren't doing too great. Um, your window is even shorter. I try to encourage everybody that is a fighter to do something outside of fighting that they love, to do something additional. You can love fighting. People love to fight, but always have like a backup, something, a hobby, just maybe something that generates income as well. Like my videography is my hobby. It makes me money, and I have fun doing it. And I know that when I'm done fighting, I could be like, "Hey, UFC, I used to fight for you. Can I record? Can I do content for you guys?" And that kind of everything, man. You just gotta stay open. But then, being a fighter, I like to give advice to the young ones how sacrifice is really required for what you're trying to do. You can't quit your job and go out all the time or all this stuff if you want to be a fighter. You have to sit down, especially in your beginning career. You got to sit down. You got to study. You got to drill. You got to work enough to support your life as well as train. I know people that won't work a 9 to 5 because it takes away from the 11 to 12 training sessions that the pros do. But when I was working, I worked so many hours. I woke up at 6 a.m. and I would work until 5 every day of the week. And I would go right from 5. I would change in the back room of my job and go right to ATT Longwood, and I would train the 6 all the way to like 9 o'clock. I did that every day. I sacrificed everything. I was tired all the time. I woke up so early. There are some times, that this is what you got to do. And I've made it here. It got me here, and now I'm free. I have every single day to do whatever I want. And all I had to do is sacrifice like 5 years, 5, 6 years.
For you, do you find it more fruitful when you get messages of people, telling them how they look up to you, how you changed their lives, how, they were able to turn their lives around because of your story?
Oh, it's incredible. Yeah, it's incredible. That is, I just responded to someone today. My purpose right here for fighting, I want to be, because I have a good story, I want to be someone that people look up to, people get inspired by when they see, not just someone that's like, oh, Mike Davis, he's such a good fighter. I want him to be like, that's Mike Davis. His story is incredible. He helped me achieve this, and I had this mentality. He saved me from this, or I get a lot of messages from parents actually that ask me to message their children, like, hey, my son is sad. My son is going on our path. My son's getting into fights at school. Like, can you just send him a message and talk to him? And I'd be like, yeah, tell him to add me and send him a message, and I'll do it. Like, I get a lot of those now, but it's just great. It's really good. That makes me feel good inside. It really makes me feel happy.
Another guy who has an amazing story, obviously, Terrence McKinney. I mean, a guy that was, pronounced dead at one point, overcome so many obstacles and demons, and, about to have children and start a family and hopefully go on a great, successful ride. One of the things that he told me he wants to do are community centers. He wants to give back with what he does with fighting. Or guys like that, or those guys you want to forge bonds with, maybe help create good and help the community together with.
Yeah, that'd be amazing. Absolutely. If I can give back to the community, that's makes my purpose, fulfilled. I want to stand for something better than just some guy that's good at fighting.
All right. Well, last question for you, my friend. In a perfect world, what is the outcome on February 1st when you return to the UFC Octagon against Fares Ziam?
Perfect world outcome is I have to win. I mean, that's the perfect world outcome. But I wish no harm to either of us. No foul play, good spirit, good life afterwards. But I have to win. It has to happen. It always happens, so it's gonna keep happening.
Absolutely. Well, hey, Mike, thank you so much, my friend. You're always awesome to talk to every time we do one of these, and I wish you nothing but the best, man.
Thank you, and you as well.
Absolutely. That's it for us tonight. That is Beast Boy. He is Mr. Mike Davis. I'm Dr. Carl Prusa. Stick around, fight fans.